On today's episode of Buy or Pass, we're going to take a look at Google's Q1 2019 earnings. We're going to mainly take a look at their earning transcript to see what they had to say about their results. Hello, my name's Jose, and this is another episode of Buy or Pass. In this series, I will look at the financial documents of a company and decide if I was looking for another investment, would I buy or would I pass? Before we start, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to get info on new episodes and other videos. Like mentioned before, today's going to be a Google episode. Like always, this is going to be a two-part episode. On part one, we're going to take a look at their transcript and any other information they might have posted in their earnings investors website. And on part two of this series, we're going to take a look at the actual numbers and see how they compare to previous quarters and previous annual data. So let's see what we got going on. So here I already opened the earnings call transcript for Q1. I took the liberty already to reading this document and highlighting all the key takeaways that I found from this. And I'm going to share you guys what I found. So hopefully you guys don't have to read the whole document. So here, let's begin with page 1. So the first point, we're going to talk about their total revenue. This quarter was $36.3 billion, up 17% year on year, following a strong 2018. Once again, the results were driven by the ongoing strength in mobile search, along with important contributions from YouTube, followed by cloud. So I'm already liking this, right? We can see their top 3 revenue sources are some of their biggest plays and some of the plays that a lot of other companies are also involved in, which is mobile search and cloud. YouTube, obviously not other companies are involved, but cloud is something that we're seeing a lot of the big people playing. So that means this is the right place. Everybody's seeing growth in this sector, and it's great that Google has a big lead on them. Next, we have the Alphabet revenues by geographic regions. I like this. US revenues were 16.5 billion out of that 36 billion. So almost half of the revenue came from US alone, and it's up 17% year over year. Europe, Middle East, and Africa revenues were 11.8 billion. It's impressive that those countries there made up almost, again, about half, a little less than 40% of the revenue, but again, it's up 13% year over year. Asia Pacific region revenues were 6.1 billion, up 27% over last year, and other America revenues were 1.9 billion, up 10% year over year. So we can see that every part of the world is growing with Google. So that's definitely a great thing to see. We're not seeing a slowdown anywhere, even with all these tensions going on around the world. We're still seeing strong growth in Google, and that's definitely a great thing to see. Obviously, these numbers would be higher if we were to see constant currency, but a lot of the increase of the dollar strength with the decrease, weakening in other currencies is making these a little less value. But everything we're seeing over double-digit growth, which is great to see. What else do we have here? All right, so here we're going to talk about their cost of revenue. So this is where they're spending most of their money. The biggest contributor was cost associated with their data centers and other operations, including depreciation, followed by content acquisition cost. I mean, we know, right? YouTube is definitely going heavy with YouTube Premium and YouTube TV. So a lot of their cost comes from getting content for these sectors so they can combat the big dogs like Disney and Netflix coming up, and they're advertising, like they say, mostly for advertising support content, but also for newer subscription businesses like YouTube Premium and YouTube TV, like I mentioned. So we can see this company is definitely using its money to increase its revenue in the future. Operating expenses was $12.0 billion, up 20%. That's definitely a huge jump in operating expenses. But I like this. The biggest reason was the increased research and development with headcount growth in cloud, which is the largest driver. So we know all these big companies are definitely invested into cloud. So it's good to know that Google is not far behind. They're increasing their research and development there, which is already good. But they also have growth in sales and marketing, growth, and that's again reflects additional headcount. So they just got more people. Growth in general and administrative. So we can see this company is growing, and here they do mention that the majority of new hires were engineers and product managers. This is good. They're hiring engineers to develop these cloud products, and they're also having product managers to see both technicals and sale roles to make sure they're producing great revenue. So far I'm definitely liking how Google is going with how they're spending their money. They do talking about operating income was $6.6 billion. We're going to take a look in episode 2 of this that these numbers might seem elevated compared to previous quarters, but this is because of a new accounting standard that requires recognition of unrealized gains and losses on equity securities, which I think in my part is pretty dumb. Why should they account unrealized gains and unrealized losses? These are unrealized, so it means it's not really there. So in my opinion, this is I want to know what was the reasoning of switching to these new accounting standard. If it's a standard, then that means it's required by other companies. So I haven't really checked up on it, but I'll take a look at that. But in my opinion, it's definitely a pretty dumb standard. Google segment, actually, now that I think about it, right, I have heard that other companies will take a look at Berkshire Hathaway, but I'm pretty sure they also have to record unrealized gains and losses. So it's a standard. So other companies are doing it, but I really do think it's a dumb part of the standard. So now we'll take a look at Google's segment revenues. Like we mentioned, it was 36.2 revenues were 36.2 billion, up 17% year over year. We can see Google Sites revenue were 25.7 billion in the quarter. So that Google Sites was over half of the total revenue, and that was up 17%. Like we see, we continue to see growth in this company's revenue. In terms of dollar growth, we're led by mobile search with a strong contribution from YouTube, followed by desktop search. Network revenues were $5.5 billion, up 8%. Again, we continue to see that growth. Continue to reflect the performance of primarily drivers growth, AdMob, followed by Google Ad Managers. So we can see they're definitely getting money from Google Ads. So that's definitely a great thing to see. Other revenues for Google were 5.4 billion, up 25% year over year, and this was fueled by Google Cloud and Google Play, and partially offset by hardware. So it seems hardware seems to be doing not so strong, and we'll take a look in a bit where the hardware is going down. But Google Cloud Platform remains one of the fastest growing businesses in Alphabet. So I can't wait to continue to see this cloud platform continue to grow. Strong growth in Google Play was driven particularly by performance in Asia Pacific region. We'll take a reason why they definitely just released a few new applications there. So that's good to see that Google Play is doing well. And here we can see hardware results reflected lower year-on-year sales of Pixel, reflecting in part of heavy promotion activity industry-wide given some of the recent purchase pressure in the premium smartphone market. So we can see their Pixel cell phone. This is not talking about Pixel 2. I forget which Pixel they are, but we can see Pixel sales are lower year-on-year sales. So it's reflecting, and they are promoting heavy on this industry. I do think it's great for this company to maintain in its cell phone market, just because it's something that everyday use, and I know the company just wants to be everywhere. So I do think that they should continue to be there. So next we'll take a look at other bets. So if you guys don't know, Google is broken down into two sections: Alphabet and other bets. So Alphabet is pretty much Google, YouTube, Google website revenue, Google Cloud, Google Play, and other bets are all the other smaller companies that Google acquired, but are actually not part of their main sector, and they just call it other bets. So here we have about 10, 15, probably even more other businesses. And we can see revenue from other bets was only $170 million. And that $170 million is nothing compared to their total revenue of $36.6 billion from Google. So we can see this is such a small section, but we'll take a look at the companies they own in a bit, the ones they mentioned here, and to see how they are definitely something that is good for this company to have. So we can see primarily generated by Fiverr and Verily, excuse me, sorry about that. And here I went to their website, so we can see Fiverr, it is exactly what it shows. It's a Fiverr company that offers extreme fast, high speed internet. And then we have, what is it, Verily? What was the other one? Verily. And I think this is a medicine. Yeah, it Verily focuses on healthcare and disease prevention research. So we can see right there, they're in the Fiverr internet speed and in the healthcare section, healthcare sector. Again, these are small companies. Operating loss was $868 million. Again, this for them it's not a small change, but it, like they say, other bets, it's definitely great things to have. Key recent accomplishments include Waymo recently announced that it will expand its activities in Michigan, opening a facility in Detroit that will be the first dedicated to the production of L4 automotive vehicle. So they are working on their own self-smart driving cars as well. So you don't know if you don't know, and that's Waymo here. We'll take a look. Waymo here, Alphabet's self-driving car project. So they are also in that sector. They also mentioned Loon announced a long-term strategic relationship to advance the use of high-altitude vehicles to deliver continuity with SoftBank Telecoms Group, which will invest $125 million in Loon. So Loon, again, is another company of theirs, and this company is meant to be able to provide internet to parts in the world that can't receive internet just due to location. So it's pretty much just air balloon flying, shooting internet at each other, to provide internet. Then they do mention, sorry, let's see where we're at. And Wind became the first drone delivery company to receive air carrier certification from the FAA. That's definitely a big step, an important step toward becoming a commercial service delivering goods for local businesses to homes in the US. So that's great, right? This company is the first drone delivery company to receive certification. Now they're able to proceed and move forward into being able to deliver products. So we'll see how that continues, but in my mind, the way things are going, that is probably that one and the self-driving cars are probably the two biggest ones we should keep an eye on from this company. So next we got, they're pleased, again, they're continuing to talk about their Google Cloud platform and how their balanced growth of both new customers and expansion with existing customers driven revenue growth. So we can see cloud is not only for new customers, but they're also getting their existing customers to increase their paying on cloud. They're continuing to invest technical talent for priority areas like cloud, search, and machine learning. So these, like I mentioned, Google search, right? Search needs machine learning, and this cloud is definitely one of the biggest plays out right now. So it's great to know that this company is investing in these three sectors. I highlighted some of the great key points of what they have right now, or just some cool software that I thought was pretty cool. They do mention other ones, but these are the ones I found pretty interesting. They began testing AR walking navigation in Google Maps, which uses augmented reality and your phone's camera to show you where you are relative to the surrounding as you're walking. So this is pretty impressive, right? You can use your camera will be able to tell you which way to keep going, which way to turn around. And this is great for when you're in a congested area and you don't know exactly which building or door to take. Google AR will definitely get you there. They are seeing great momentum in Android Auto. If you guys don't have Android Auto in your car, it's pretty great. It allows you to connect all your Google applications from your phone to the vehicle's touchscreen. And now Toyota announced that it will include Android Auto in its upcoming vehicles. In my mind, Toyota is pretty slow for not doing this earlier. Starting in 2020, that means all of top 10 car makers now support Android Auto. And in Google Play, first-time buyers grew by nearly 50% year over year. So I mean that's great. So all top 10 car makers now support Android Auto. Definitely a great thing, and one of my favorite things from my cars. But it's pretty sad that Toyota has taken this long to get that. So I'll make sure not to get any Toyota stock, because to me that definitely shows a slowness in their innovating process. Then they did release a new platform, Stadia, which is for gamers, and it's definitely pretty impressive. You'll be able to play AAA games on any type of screen instantly without ever needing to download the game or install updates. That if this is real, this is pretty impressive, and they look forward to sharing more when it launches later this year. So it's coming out in 2019, and I, as a gamer, will definitely take advantage of it. I am at the moment, as you can tell with what I'm looking, with how I'm talking, that I'm definitely liking this company. But here they could be saying a lot of things. Tomorrow, when we take a look at their numbers, we'll see how things really look like. They also began expanding the content offerings, offering availability and the function on some of their newer YouTube experience. YouTube TV is now available nationwide. That's pretty great. I am still on cable. I'm probably a little slow in there. Hopefully I change jobs soon, become a cable cutter. But YouTube TV is now available nationwide with many new networks and channels added in this past quarter. YouTube Music and YouTube Premium are now available in 43 countries, up from 5 markets at the start of 2018. In mid-March, like a few months ago, they launched YouTube Music in India, and is one of the fastest YouTube's growing market. Since launch, the YouTube Music app has been downloaded more than 15 million times in the country. That's ridiculous. YouTube's ad business, really great. I do think YouTube's ad business is one of the great with AdSense and YouTube promotion. Google promotion is definitely one of the greatest things they have for both brand and direct response, continue to grow and support the creators. What else do we have here? Then we're talking more about hardware. They're proud that in the few short years they built a strong foundation in hardware. Their demand for Google Home family of products remains strong, especially Home Mini and Home Hub. We can see they don't talk much about Pixel hardware, but that's because it seems like their smart homes are the best way for them to go, and hopefully they continue to develop there. They also announced a new campus and engineering hub in Taiwan, largely support their hardware efforts. So it's pretty great. I actually want to find out eventually. I'll look where most of their inventory is made. Do they have inventory outside of China? Maybe they do in Taiwan, and that's definitely a great thing. Today, 9 of the world's 10 largest companies, 7 of the 10 largest retailers, and more than half of the 10 largest companies in manufacturing use Google Cloud. So we can see this company is definitely a top leader in cloud, and the world's largest companies are there behind them. So as long as Google can keep them and increase their presence in here, we're definitely going to see huge revenue from Google. Next, I highlighted some key points. These are points not really strong to their business in number wise, but I think right now we're definitely in an era where good things to people take a long way for a company and lead to lead to more customers just because of how good they are, right? So if they did a collaboration with Goodwill, and a million Americans have learned new digital skills, and 27,000 of them have found a job. They also talk about how Google data centers use 50% less energy than a typical data center. So here they're pretty renewable energy friendly, but even though it's 50% less energy, they're still delivering 7 times more computing power than they did 5 years ago. Since 2007, they've matched 100% of the electricity consumption of their operations with purchases of renewable energy. And Google is the world's largest corporate buyer of renewable energy. So even though this might not be strong for the business as a whole, it is definitely a strong for how what I feel the consumer era is right now. And for a consumer and a customer to be reading this, they would be like, wow, this is definitely great. Google is a company that cares, and they are showing that they care. So I'm going to continue to support Google. So that's a great thing. And that's all I have for right now. And that would be episode 1, part 1 of Google. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Make sure, guys, to get updates on episode 2. Let me know if you guys learned anything new after reading this. I definitely learned a lot about Google after taking a read of this Q1 earnings, and I'm liking it so far. But remember, what they say could be different from their numbers. So stay tuned on episode 2 too, so where we take a look at their numbers and see how things are really headed. So take care, guys. Have a good night, and remember, don't forget to subscribe. Take care.